The Cleveland Browns are fucking back, everyone. Let's go. Browns 32, Bengals 13. I'll get in trouble from YouTube for saying that F word, but I don't care. I am pumped up right now, and you should be too, because the Browns looked like they were dead in the water. Loss after loss after loss, and what do at home with the entire country watching? Just clown, curb stomp, beat down Joe Burrow and the Bengals. 32-13. Now, this post-game show is coming to you guys right after/during our watch party for this game. So if you have not joined us for a watch party before, make sure you do so. I apologize for any slurs of the words. It's just we've had a couple beverages to celebrate the win. 32-13. A couple of the stats to read off here. Jacoby Brissett, 17 for 22. What was he? 11 for 17 at the half. A little bit sharper in the second half. 278 yards, a touchdown to go along with it. Nick Chubb, another 100-yard performance and 2 scores. And Amari Cooper, 131 yards and 1 touchdown. Got a lot of takes coming from this game. I am sure you do as well. But I want to start with this take. The Browns held Joe Burrow and the Bengals to 13 points, a season low, might I add, without Denzel Ward and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. You could argue the second and third best players on this defense. So everyone, including myself, clap it up for this defense in Joe Woods. When everyone said they were dead in the water, when we were all calling for jobs, what do they do against Burrow and the Bengals, a team that's been rocking and rolling the last couple of weeks, that put up touchdown after touchdown last week against Atlanta? They shut them out. No points in the first half. Some Mickey Mouse touchdowns in the second half. The Browns, they're back, baby. Oh, you better believe it. They're all the way back right now. And we'll talk more about that. But at 3-5 right now, going into the bye, all I can think about is if you beat the Jets, the Chargers, or the Falcons, just one of those 3 games you had a fourth quarter lead in, how much more comfortable I would be. But 3-5, you're not in the ground. You're not, especially in this AFC. Just think about it. Stick with me for a second here. AFC West, it's the Chiefs and maybe the Chargers coming at it for the playoffs. AFC South is just the Titans. So we got half a playoff team. Just look at the wild card right now. Right? If the Browns want to go the wild card route, the Ravens win the division. The AFC East, it's the Dolphins and maybe the Jets, maybe the Patriots. One of those 2 teams, that's one playoff team. Right? There are 2 or 3 wild card spots still up for grabs. Even if the Browns don't win the division, at 3-5, they're going to come out of the bye playing the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Bucs. If you go 2-1 in that stretch, you're 5-6. All you need Deshaun Watson to do is lose just 1 game only. The remaining schedule. That puts you at 10-7. Hell, we've seen a lot of 9-8 teams make the playoffs. Now, granted, it's been on the NFC side, which has been weaker the last couple of years. But the NFL is very top-heavy this year. A lot of great teams, like the Bills, the Chiefs, the Eagles, right? But the middle of the pack has kind of sucked so far. So 9-8 might get it done. And no one wants to play a 9-8 team led by Deshaun Watson and the Browns, who at that point would have rattled off a lot of wins. Now, I know I'm getting ahead of myself right now. We're just talking about one post-game show after the Bengals. But this win, it feels like a win that could set the Browns on a good trajectory to make the postseason. Now, today's post-game show is just a solo broadcast. It is just myself. So bear with me as I ask a couple questions with you guys here, because that's the way we roll here at Chat Sports. Are the Browns back? Are the Cleveland Browns back, baby? Yes, they are. Spam yes in the comments right now. That's the only question I want to ask, and I provided the answer. Yes, they are back, and you know it too. Let's go. All right, a couple more stats I want to get to right now. We throw these on screen for you guys here. All right. Browns stats against the Bengals. 440 yards. A lot of people get on Kevin Stefanski's case. How often do you find a coach with a backup quarterback that puts up 440 yards of offense, 268 on the ground, 268 through the air, 172 on the ground, 8 of 13 on third down? Those are insane numbers. I'm not saying that Kevin Stefanski is perfect, and I'm not going to forget about that losing streak, but before you try and get the pitchforks out and run him out of town, he's doing great numbers with a backup quarterback, everyone. Kind of let that sink in for a moment here. Imagine what he can do with a legitimate quarterback in Deshaun Watson / a healthy quarterback, which he didn't have last year at all with Baker. And by the way, Kevin Stefanski is deserving of a Nobel Peace Prize for what he made Browns fans do last year, making Baker Mayfield tolerable as a injured quarterback compared to what he's doing right now in Carolina healthy. But I don't talk about Baker anymore. Bengals stats against the Browns here. 229 yards, 193 through the air, without Denzel Ward, without Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Your best corner and your best linebacker, and they shut him down. 36 yards for Joe Mixon and company on the ground. Those are the numbers that get people fired. You only managed to rush for 36 yards against the worst run defense in the NFL? Now, clearly, it's obvious. Had a couple drinks in the celebration. Bear with me. But 4 for 10 on third down. The turnovers in the first half. Clap it up for Joe Woods. Shame on me because I was, I could say wrong just because of one game. But it goes to show why sometimes it's a good idea maybe not to overreact so much in just the first couple of weeks of the season. I get it. It's just one game. But it does go to show the NFL is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not 2 games we have to get so drastic and fire everyone, right? Have a little bit of faith. And this goes for myself and everyone of, let's see how this plays out over a longer period of time. I'm not saying that Joe Woods is completely off the leash here and he's all hunky-dory, but I think Joe Woods showed this team and this defense they've got some dog in them. I want to get to some super chats right now that came in during our watch party for this Browns 32-13 win against the Cincinnati Bengals. Hot take. Nick Chubb on the road to be the consensus #1 running back in the NFL by next year, if not this year. I say it's a mild hot take because he has been the best running back in football this year. It's not Jonathan Taylor. It's not Derrick Henry or Dalvin Cook. It is absolutely Nicholas Jamal Chubb. He leads the NFL in rushing yards, rushing average, rushing touchdowns. And he doesn't even lead him in attempts. Think about that. The #1 rushing leader doesn't even lead the NFL in rushing attempts. You know the last running back to do so, by the way? Be the NFL rushing leader, the crown, but not the attempt leader, the carries? Kareem Hunt in 2017. And before then, Adrian Peterson in 2012 when he won an MVP. If a quarterback doesn't emerge as a top quarterback this year, maybe finally we get a running back MVP or something other than a quarterback. Love it, A-Jack. Some other super chats I want to throw on screen right now. I love this from Brown Tiger. Think about this for a second. F. Pitt is solely in last place now, and we are solely in third. Everyone spam F. Pitt in the comment section below for the Brown Tiger. A couple other thoughts I had here are some other super chats. but doesn't matter. This is how we get back in the division. Vranich, you're back up, Slick, referring to our Super Chat battle we had during the game here. I mean, you are now 3-5 going into the bye. You're 2-1 in the division. You sit 2 games back from Baltimore at 5-3. You have one more game against them. So if you win that one at home, it comes down to stealing one more. That's all you're asking for. It's one extra win and the Ravens to lose one more game, which they have been masterminds at blowing fourth quarter leads. I don't think you're asking for too much right there. So we're going to end the show with the scoreboard here, looking at the stats one more time. Kind of getting your guys' thoughts and takes, because I love to see what you guys have to say. Jacoby Brissett is making himself a lot of money for next year, right? He probably didn't know he'd be playing 11 games this year, but once again, Brissett shows he is borderline more than just a backup QB. He's a top 32 QB. Now, he's kind of a transitional quarterback, but Brissett, I mean, just a couple of X's and O's here. He does such a great job of going through his reads and his progressions. Next time you're watching him, do a favor for myself. Watch his head. Watch his eyes. He goes from left to middle to right every single time. His only downfall is he doesn't do it quick enough and a sack comes or a forced fumble. And he's not good at evading pressure. But he goes through his reads. He's not a backup who goes out there with Brown in his pants and goes, I'm throwing to my best receiver and that's it. No, he'll scan the whole field. He found Michael Woods and David Bell in the first half. I know there's a contingent of people out there that say, give me Josh Dobbs. Stop. Please. Brissett's doing a very good job. This team is averaging over 25 points per game. The losses are on the special teams and the defense for collapsing. And sure, some untimely throws by Brissett. But for what he's been asked to do, he has exceeded my expectations. Let's wrap up today's postgame show and let you guys enjoy the rest of your Monday evening, the rest of your Tuesday, whenever you are watching this. Cleveland, 32. Cincinnati, 13. Stefanski, 5-0 against the Bengals. Battle of Ohio goes back to Cleveland. Let's go. Browns, 3-5 entering the bye with some mojo, with some confidence, some momentum, getting ready for Miami in 2 weeks. Let's go, Browns.